All right, good evening. It is Chapter 7 review for sections 1 through 4. We do have our quiz tomorrow, Thursday, on January 10th. So hopefully this helps you a little bit. Just a real quick overview as to what's going to happen on the quiz tomorrow. This is the first question where it just says find each number. So if you want to hit pause, go ahead and hit pause and solve this. So you're going to have to take the 54% and simply convert it to a decimal. So 54 hundredths of, again, means times 85. And when you take those numbers and multiply them together, I'm going to do it myself, 0.54 times 85, you're going to get 45.9. That's all you're doing for those today. That's it. Just simply convert to a decimal and simply change the word of to multiply and multiply those answers together, or numbers together, to get 45 and 9/10. Next question is using the percent proportion, which, if you remember that's part over base equals equals whatever the percent is over 100. And remember, this percent is, if it says that it's 50%, then you're going to write 50 over the 100, not 0.5, okay, which is basically the same thing. 0.50, 50 hundredths, same thing as writing 50 over 100. That's why we don't write this as a decimal. For letter A, what percent of $15 is 9? Again, the question is finding what percent. So percent is our x over 100 equals, now we have to understand our part and our base. So $15 is 9. So my base is 15 and 9 is my part. Okay, again, because that is the smaller amount. And it isn't always that case, as we learned in class. What percent of $15 is 9? So we're trying to find the percent of that 15. Okay, that's why that's our base, and 9 being the part, because it's a portion of that. Now we can cross multiply to get 900 equals 15x, and you divide both sides by 15 because of the number with the variable. And when you take 900 and divide it by 15, you get 60. So x equals 60. Okay, now the question is, that's the percent, okay, is what we're trying to find. So when you do that, it needs to be written as a percent. Okay, questions on that? You can certainly ask tomorrow as well, but there's no converting to this because it was over 100. Okay, as you learned today, we had to make that into a percent and move the decimal point. No issue today since it's over 100. That's the difference between what we did today and this particular type of problem. What number is 40%? Well, 40 over 100 equals, this should be of 120. So then you simply take what number is 40% of 120, and it's a matter of saying, all right, is this the base or is this the part? Since it is saying what number is 40% of 120, 40% of 120, that's going to be my base, 120. We're trying to find the part. What number is 40% of that number? So this is my x. When we cross multiply, we get 100x equals, and then 120 times 40 equals 4,800. And you're going to have to divide both sides by 100, which then x equals 48. The next problem, and again, you can hit pause at any time to solve these and then give me and then we can compare answers. 18 is 25% of what number? Well, 25% over 100. Now it's a matter of finding out what is this. Well, 18 is, and we learned today, 18 equals that 25%. That's the portion, that's the part. So that's why it is 18 over x. And we simply get 25x equals 18 times 100, which is 1800. And then you're going to solve this by dividing both sides by the number with the variable, which is 25. And then you have 1800 divided by 25, which gives me 72. So x equals 72 for an answer. Next type of problem would be estimate. And again, we're trying to find compatible numbers. So the best thing to do is to round these particular numbers so that they are compatible, that they are easily divided into each other. So 79%, probably the best way would be 80% of, and you can make this into 500, let's say. And then we can simply take this and say, all right, let's make this into a fraction. And we had that conversion table. Well, 80% would be 8/10. Okay, and you can reduce that then by 2 if you like and get your 4/5. Then you're going to multiply it by 500. Put it over 1. Now we can cross reduce. This goes into it once. This goes into 100 times. And we, whoops. And then we end up with 4 times 100, which then equals 400 over 1, which equals 400. So 80% of 500, which is what we rounded these numbers to. And sometimes you will only have to round the percent. Sometimes you'll only have to round the other number. Or sometimes, in this case, you had to round both so that they are compatible. Keep them just within reason. And we've talked a little bit about what keeping things within reason would look like. They just need to be close to it. And obviously, the larger the number, the further apart they could be. So my answer again is 400, finding that compatible number. And remember on those problems too, we will be lenient. There will be a range because there are some other possibilities you could have used. Go ahead and hit pause again for these if you like and solve them and then compare answers, or you can just work along with me as I do this. This is what we did today. Percent equation, part equals percent times whole or the base. What number is 12% of 150? What number is the question? So we're going to use in. Is stands for equals. 12%, write that as a decimal, which is 0.12. 1200ths. Of means multiply 150. Okay. Now some confusion today. I saw a few students right away. You have to look at the equation. Okay. N is already by itself. If n's by itself, then all you have to do is solve what's on the other side of the equation. So now it's just a matter of saying 0.12 times 150. That's going to give you 18 for an answer. So n equals 18. Done. Let's look at the next one. 21 is stands for equals. What percent is going to be my variable p? Of stands for multiply and 40. So now we need to solve this algebraically. Now since p is not by itself, we have to get rid of the number that's with the variable. To do that, inverse operation, divide both sides by 40. And you will see that 40 divided by 40 is 1, and 1 times p is p. That's how we get that. 21 divided by 40. And when you do that, you get 0.525. Now remember, the question is what percent? So now we do have to convert it to a percent first. Move that decimal over 2 times, and we end up getting then 52 5/10%. Okay, and remember, if you round to the nearest tenths, please make sure that you move the decimal first then round. In this case, we already had the tenths, didn't have to go any further from that. Letter C is 13 is equals 26%. Again, is my decimal point, so write it as that. Of what number? Of means multiply. And what number is my variable? Now, again, it's an equation. We're trying to isolate the variable by itself, so we have to divide by the number that's with the variable, so 0.26. And when you take 13 divided by 0.26, you get 50. So then n equals 50. That's your answer. If you have questions, again, go back through this, take a good look, and see exactly why we're doing what we're doing as we go through this. And hopefully this was helpful. This is going to be something that you'll see exactly the same type of questions on the quiz tomorrow. So give me some feedback. Let me know how you like this, and we'll probably do some more. Have a great night.